It's Tehachapod time. Mya Acosta joined today by Greg Garrett and Costelloe. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Glad to be back.
Yes, it's been a minute, Corey.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. We just talked to Nick Cullen.
We did the Nick Cullen. Yeah, we did that one a week ago.
You haven't invited me for like months.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
You're just too busy.
My agent is not doing a good job,
No.
I guess. Yeah.
But today in the studio, we have two guests with us. We have Clare Scotti, Executive Director of the Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce, and we have Claudia Fair, owner of La Bodega de Castillo, here to tell us about her business, and Claire's going to tell us about what's new with the chamber. So we're excited to hear all about it and, of course, learn more about your story, Claudia. But let's get to business first. Claire, what's happening with the chamber?
Thank you so much for having us back today. And it's so exciting to have a full studio. It's just great to have everybody here and to talk chamber and business and all things Tehachapi. I would like to start with a couple new members that we have at the chamber this month. We have the Family Fitness Center, which is next to the gym located off of Valley Boulevard and Highway 202 as you're heading into Old Town. And this is a new center that is specifically geared for families. And so parents bringing in their kids, there's going to be a supervised childcare area, or you can introduce your kids to some different types of recreational sports and really get into it and do some different kinds of working out indoors. And there's also going to be a juice bar.
Nice.
Yes, very excited about that. Anytime Fitness has also joined the chamber, and they are moving into their new location at the Save Mart Shopping Center. And we're super excited. They're looking at opening here soon and then celebrating their grand opening in April or May. So we're very excited to be looking ahead at that and the wonderful programs that they have available for Tehachapi residents.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. And our Kern County District 2 Supervisor, Chris Parlier, has also joined the chamber. And we'll be talking about a couple fun events he'll be doing as well.
Cool.
Yes. We have some fun things happening in March. We have a grand opening with Luxe Beauty Lounge. They are located at 276 South Mill Street, Suite A. And this will happen on March 15th at 3 p.m. Janice Looper and Marlene Craighead have been working very, very hard to remodel this space, and it looks fantastic. They offer facials, pedicures, manicures, all things hair, color, style, cuts, everything. And they even have a few little fun things to purchase while you're there too.
Cool.
So, yeah, really cool. Excited to see that and celebrate with them. And then we're also looking at a late March grand opening for Luna's Mexican Grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've been open for a bit, officially, but they need to celebrate it on a grand scale, so that's exciting. I have gone once. I need to go back again. Their enchiladas are very good.
Oh, yes.
Tell me the date on that again.
So they're looking at toward the end of the month, maybe the 20th. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So please stay tuned on to our chamber Facebook page and Instagram for updates on that. And we're very excited to welcome them. And then we have a mixer March 6th. This is with Kern County Supervisor Chris Parlier at 5:30 at La Bodega de Castillo.
I can vouch for that's a cool place to go. Great wine, great hosts. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Looking forward.
Yes, we're so excited. So members of the chamber, this is a free event, and you get a complimentary glass of wine when you come in. So we're very excited. Everybody can come and talk to Mr. Parlier and get your questions answered, see what his plans are, see what his goals are, what it's been like so far. You know, it's good to rub some elbows and let him know all about Tehachapi. And so please take advantage of this wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yay. March 6th, 5:30 to 7 at La Bodega. March 18th, we have our luncheon at Kelsey's at 12 p.m. This month, we have Joshua Pierce from Cornerstone Counseling and Discipleship. He's going to be talking specifically about mental health in the workplace. And so kind of knowing, like really getting involved with your employees, knowing how they're feeling, what's going on, and then maybe looking for signs if they might need some help or assistance, or how you can provide that in your workplace and make sure everyone is as healthy as they can be and being as productive and enjoying their job as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of really great takeaways there. And then March 25th, we have Joel Paramo coming out from Bakersfield Chamber. He is the Senior Director of Strategic Communications out there, and he is coming to share newsletter marketing strategies with Chamber members and the community.
Cool.
So this is a free workshop for Chamber members. It will be at the Train Depot Museum on March 25th at 5 p.m. And of course, anyone is welcome. You can hop on our Chamber website and register for that. But again, it's free for our Chamber members, and we're specifically looking into newsletter marketing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Looking a little further into the future, we have Wind Festival coming up April 26th. And we are getting really excited. There's going to be kite flying fun, all kinds of bounce house fun. There's going to be food trucks, games, face painting, all kinds of crafts. We have vendors who are lining up to be a part of this that are super fun, lots of stuff for families. And we're really happy to be partnering with Saracoso Community College here in Tehachapi, Sim Sanitation, the official kite sponsor. So they have purchased kites for all the kids to come and have their own little kite that they can fly. Golden Hills Community Services District is a huge partner in this, and so is Tehachapi Valley Recreation and Parks District. The Loop newspaper is a media sponsor, and we're so thankful for that help. And Little Entertainment is providing the bounce houses.
All right. Fun stuff.
Yay. And one more thing. I know we're looking out into the future, but we know that Mountain Fest will be here before we know it.
Oh, yeah.
And right now we are running an art contest for the art for Mountain Fest.
Cool.
So the theme for this year is Ridges, Roots, and Rhythms.
Okay. There's a lot of, double entendres that you could take with the names on here of like roots. Okay, maybe trees. Trees are important here in Tehachapi. So on and so forth. There's so many directions that you can go with the art for this. So I'm intrigued to see what folks will have in store and the creative ideas that they'll bring to make a lovely image for our Mountain Fest this year.
Yes, absolutely. And you're thinking like ridges with our beautiful mountain ridges that we have, the roots from the oak trees, but also the roots that everyone has here in Tehachapi, right? The people that come here stay here. And of course, rhythms, tons of music and wonderful things to enjoy at Mountain Festival.
Yeah.
So this is a art contest. The prize is $200, and you will get to have a complimentary booth space at the gazebo.
Nice.
Yes. So please have your submissions in. You can email them to chamber@tehachapi.com, or you can drop them off if they're a physical piece of art. You can drop them off at the chamber headquarters by March 24th.
Okay, so people have got a little less than a month to get those masterpieces completed and submitted.
Yes. And all the full list of rules and regulations and directions is on our website, tehachapi.com, and our social media pages, the Greater Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce Business Center on Facebook, and Chamber Tehachapi on Instagram.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. That's chamber business. Let's get into the fun stuff.
Oh, yes. I know that we here all are very excited to learn more about La Bodega. Greg, especially, I know that you really wanted to come on and speak more about this.
She's making some assumptions that you're very excited to talk about wine.
Well,
Let's just say that I am. Actually, this podcast was scheduled for a previous day, and I said, no, I have to be in on that one because Claudia's a good friend. Ron, your past husband, and just yes. the business is spectacular. You go in there, it's so warm, it's so welcoming. The art on the walls, the wine that you serve rotates through.
Yes.
And the gentleman that pours the wine, he is all knowing when it comes to all the different areas. So I just kind of wrapped up the podcast, didn't I?
Yeah, that's all I need to say.
I should stop now. All right. Well, you can tell, I'm just excited. It's such a great addition to the north side.
Yeah.
We have West Lane Brewery over there. We have LCB, but the city of Tehachapi has put a lot of effort into revitalizing the north side of the tracks over the last. We've spent millions of dollars, and now we have private investment, and things are rising, and it's such a great business. So I'm ecstatic about the business.
I'm glad that you're happy about it.
Yeah,
we are too.
How long ago did we start this journey? Because it was like 2019, 18 when we first met, and then the
Yes.
development services team when you and your husband came in to say, this is what we want to do. And we said, cool. And then all kinds of stuff happened.
Yes, so it was in 2018
Okay.
when we started the project. It was when my husband came home and he says, hey, I have a place I want you to see. And so he took me to see this place, and I look at it and he says, I think that this would be the right place for us to do a wine bar. And I'm thinking, what do you want to do?
And if people don't realize like what that place was, I first of all never remember ever being open in my entire time in Tehachapi. It was like a smoked meat house, you know, like
well,
a
let's
deli.
tell them exactly where it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's across the tracks on the north side, so right behind the toy store.
Darlene.
Yes, right behind
Darlene's
Darlene's
Tours, right?
toy
It's in
store.
the same building essentially, but it's
Yes.
on the west side of Green Street, right on the corner of Green and H.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So at the time when you guys, he probably took you there, you were like, I don't see the vision, because this was, like I said, that business had been closed for decades. I mean, it was just this old kind of meat counter, I guess, was the only thing the way to describe
right.
it.
It was closed for about somewhere between 35 years or so. And so it was just basically a storage place when we walked in there. We kind of asked around, went to the lawnmower place at the time, and we asked, do you know who the owner of the building is? And we happened to talk to Jack, who is the brother of the owner. And so he got us in contact with Joel. And so we met with Joel and we told him what our intentions were, what we were thinking about. And Joel was just ecstatic about it. He thought it was a great idea. So he allowed us to walk in there, and, I started looking at the place, and it's full of all this stuff. It's kind of overwhelming. But eventually, yes, we started planning, and we came and talked to you guys at the city and told you what. I actually just had a drawing of just kind of what I was thinking about. And I wanted to know from you guys' perspective what it is that I needed to have there in order to make you guys happy, right?
Anything at that point, because it hadn't been open in 40 years, it really, it really didn't really matter.
Yes. So the journey started in 2018. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I did some projects, on the side. And as I did projects, money went into, building the bodega for him. So he had this vision, and it all started from him being living in Germany when he was in the Air Force back in the 70s. And as he traveled Europe, he fell in love with Spain. And so that is why the theme, very European. Not only that, but my birth name is Castillo. So that's where the name comes in. My ancestors are from Spain. But when he was in Europe with the Air Force, as he traveled Europe, he also volunteered with restaurants that he liked and learned the cuisine. And so what we wanted this place to be was kind of an extension of our house, because at our home, we've always had friends and family come in. We never knew who was coming in through that door. But we knew that somebody would come and we would have wine, we would have food, music, just kind of a pleasant place to be. And we wanted it to be comfortable for everybody, especially for women. He wanted to make sure that women felt comfortable coming into the bodega and not being, hassled by anybody. That they could be there at any time and just enjoy a conversation and share some wine, But he did have, a very good eye for decor. And he chose all of the art that's in the bodega.
Right, the colors, the art, all of that.
art, yes.
And you're right, it has little coves, you can kind of break away and have a little party over here or over there. It's not just one big open room, if you will.
Right.
So it's very homey.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys were probably the best friend of estate sales and antique people, I would assume,
Yes.
over the last several years. So, here they come, right? Because it's a little eclectic. There's
It's
a little bit
very
of everything,
eclectic, yes.
but it all flows together.
Yes.
And I especially appreciate there's these beautiful tables that you created out of antique sewing machines. And you like when you walk in, you look at it, you're like, wait, what? That's like my grandmother had that sewing machine, and it's so cool. And I love the story of how you found that and you restored it.
So that's kind of funny because it LCB is kind of part of that, because Tyson says to my husband, he says, "Hey, I am going to replace these tables. Do you want them?" And so he called me. He says, "Do you want the tables that LCB has?" And I'm thinking about the tables, and I'm like, "Yes, take them." And so they're all, the tops were all wood. And so what I did is I stripped down the tops and redid the tops, removed the bottoms, and put in the singer stands on them. So it was pretty cool.
Well, the thing about Tyson at LCB and Derek over at Westlane, they're just really encouraging other businesses. They want everybody to succeed.
Yes.
It's not about the competition. It's about the success of Tehachapi.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Very good friend.
And so, Claudia, your husband Ron, he passed away during this process before you actually opened. So, can you share with us a little bit about that added to the journey?
Yeah. So in 2022 is when we found out that he had cancer, and so we kind of pushed opening up the bodega because we wanted to make sure that he was able to work in there and experience it.
Yeah.
Because this was his dream. This was for him to stop working at Edwards Air Force Base Research Lab and have something for him that he loved to do. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I created, when he told me what he wanted to do, that's why I did it. That was the whole reason, was for him to do what he wanted to do.
Now, he told me he was doing it for you. But you're saying... But Ron, an amazing gentleman. So, one of the reasons I wanted to be on this podcast, not just because I love your spot and your wine and everything about it, but Ron knew my Uncle Wayne.
Yes, we both
and they
did.
both worked together. You know him also
Yes, I
at the
worked with
Rocket
him.
side
Yes.
in Edwards. And Wayne spoke so highly of Ron. Mm-hmm. So the first time I met Ron, we just instantly had a connection, almost like brothers. And it was just really surreal. And then from there, he took me on a tour, before you open. Here's what I'm going to do and this and that, kind of behind the scenes. And I had never actually met you until the other night,
right?
When you were actually serving wine. You were talking about serving wine and then food. You brought me some food and you said, "Oh, try this with that and this and that." And I'm like, I feel like at home. This is awesome,
Yeah, so that's the whole point.
Yeah. So Ron was able to be with you when you opened.
Yes, so we opened on May 3rd, and he was able to be there. He was there for the first half of the month. And on June 3rd is when he passed away. So a month later, he passed away. Mm-hmm. And so I promised him that I was going to learn everything about this business and make his dream come true. And now it's become mine, right? Mm-hmm. It's become my dream that I want to continue, learn all about this business, all about the wines and the people. I mean, the people that I have met are just wonderful people. Mm-hmm. I've been very blessed that, I have very good friends that Ron left me surrounded by wonderful people that are helping me through this journey.
Yeah, so people that enter the door, they're friends, but they leave better friends.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it really is just an amazing spot.
Thank you.
So how does one go from mechanical engineer, flight test, lab stuff to bodega owner? And then you talked about learning all the stuff. So what did you have to learn as you got into this process?
I am still learning. I mean, to start with, I had to learn how to do architectural drawings. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I do mechanical drawings, electrical drawings, all that I had to do structural, at the research lab. So for this project, I learned how to do architectural drawings so that I can get this project done. Sure. And I work with an architect friend of mine who is in Lancaster, and he's the one that signed my drawings for me. So that's one of the journeys. And I'm still working. I still have a day job, so it's one of the things that I appreciate about having a business, right? Because when you start a business, it doesn't automatically you make money, and it just doesn't happen that way. It takes a while, and I understand that it's going to be several years before the bodega is going to be, hey, this is the bodega, this is where you go, and maybe at some point I will be able to kind of let go of one of the other things that I do. But I do, I worked for the research lab for about 16 years. And now I work for the state of California. I'm a safety engineer for the state of California. And that's my day job,
Okay.
So, and I enjoy that too, because I meet a lot of people throughout the day.
Yeah. What about the ins and outs of? I know you have a very extensive and rotating menu, wine, ciders. So what's that process of selecting what goes on the menu next, and when something goes and when something comes new on the menu? So
I have several different distributors that I use, and I tell my distributors what I want, what I'm looking for as far as grapes or type of wines that I'm looking for to bring in, and they bring me samples of various producers. So when I sample, because I am not, the wine connoisseur as my husband was.
A sommelier.
Yes, exactly.
When he's in town next, we'll sample. Claire,
Bring
we'll
the
go over there,
distributor.
right, Claire?
Call us. You're close by.
Maya, we'll go sample, right? We'll give you some
Right.
hints.
Yeah, exactly.
But
We'll give you
I-
unbiased opinions.
Yeah, I do have my friend Rob Eisman, which is the gentleman that you
Right.
that you
I was
met.
going to ask about him.
Yes. So he is very knowledgeable about wine. So I do rely on him with a lot of questions and making sure that, I'm selecting really the good wines. But it really comes down to me tasting the wines and selecting the wines that I like, first of all, because I want to be able to tell you that, yes, I have tried that wine. Yes, I do like that wine. And then I do share those wines with the customers that come in during that weekend that I have those samples.
You did that the other night when I was there. A funny story about Rob real quick. So some friends and I went a couple of weeks ago. We ordered a bottle of wine, and so he laid out all the glasses and was holding the bottle of wine and started talking about it. I'm like, wait, why don't you just pour us a glass of wine so we can be, tasting the wine while because he had this long story, which was very interesting.
Yes.
But it was so funny. Everybody at the table was like, because I was like, no, we want the wine now, and you can tell
then you can
story
talk about it.
later. You're on the opposite, so it was a great time.
He's the wonderful, with wines. He's actually a retired principal from LA Unified, but he's been drinking wine for, I don't know, 40
If he was
plus
the
years,
principal,
right?
he probably for a while, after dealing with children all day.
But it was very impressive, his knowledge of winemaking and wine regions and different wines. It was very impressive.
Yes, and he's traveled a lot, and he's gone to wine countries. So, yes, he's very knowledgeable.
And I think something else unique that you guys are introducing is a cheese club.
Yes, so we started a cheese club, which there's 2 tiers to that, and you can go to our website and read about it. But we also started the wine club, and everybody's, there's several people that have been asking about it. So I finally sat down and managed to carve out some time to kind of figure things out. Obviously, there's going to be some bumps on the road that I may have to make adjustments for, but he would say, okay, well, we started, and the only way I'm going to make improvements is get it going and see what happens. But yes.
So I know charcuterie boards. I think I said that right.
Yes.
So now you have a cheese club.
A cheese
so
club.
What does that mean exactly? So you have blocks of cheese,
Pick up
and
cheese
then
once a
you
month.
can.
Yes, so we'll select.
So that pairs with a wine that you might buy through the wine club, or
Right. So we will select a cheese, and we're doing this every other month for the cheese club, and then the opposite month will be the wine club. But we'll select the cheese, and it is a 5-ounce wedge of cheese that we'll select specifically for the club members. And those cheeses that we select will not be part of our regular charcuterie boards. So they're not going to be part of that. And then there are so many cheeses that we have access to that come from Spain. And all of my cheeses are imported from Spain. So I don't have anything local. I'm looking into maybe some Italian cheeses. But at this point, I'm concentrating on Spain.
Wow.
And European cheese is wild because it's so different, right? It's than what we're used to technically, and it's, there was a cheese shop, I think it's still open. It might be closed. Years ago, downtown Paso Robles had one. We would camp over there. We'd always go there because they had all the, European cheeses and anyway, just it's like wine. There is a whole different flavor profile to each one. And, we're, in the US, it's like either American or blue cheese is kind of our limitation, but there's so much out there and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'm going to join the cheese club because you had me at cheese.
Yeah, I'm sure it's funny you say Spain was Ron's most favorite country. I've been all over Europe 1,000 times, and Spain was my absolute favorite country also. And so the wine and cheese from Spain is spectacular.
Yes. So our first cheese that we selected is going to be the black truffle mushroom cheese.
Should we just
We're
adjourn?
there. Yeah. We're all there.
A podcast studio and then we could actually get more people. Then people could see us, right? We'd have to be behind glass though because we're, we'll be drinking on the job. Is that allowed, Mya? Can we drink on the job when we do podcasts?
in moderation.
In moderation. Okay, there you go.
It's research and development for the show.
We'll add that to the employee handbook, I guess.
So how does one, I guess, what's the best way to enjoy black truffle cheese, right? I mean, for me, I'm thinking, okay, don't make a grilled cheese sandwich out of it, folks. So how does one best enjoy black truffle cheese?
With a glass of wine.
With a glass of wine, okay.
That's a good answer.
I'm sure maybe mix in a little pasta or something. It probably is a solid addition to the meal. So.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Well, I mean, all you need really is bread, wine and cheese.
Yes.
People live on that, right?
do.
Back in the
In Europe,
day, and when Jesus was walking the earth, that's what they ate.
That's right. Yeah.
The essentials.
The
essentials.
The three food groups, major food groups, I think, right there.
Yeah, just no goat cheese.
It seems like, and I know you said earlier that eventually the bodega will be the place to go. I'm going to say in a pretty short amount of time, you've picked up a pretty solid following of regulars I drive by or either I go or I drive by on the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays. You're really busy during the days and in the evenings a little bit as well. But it seems like you've picked up a pretty good following in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm.
I have. It's like I said, it's been wonderful. But you just never know when customers decide to come in. It's been nice that I do have a following of my regulars, right? And it's kind of nice that they'll come to the door and hey, I recognize you. Great, I'm so happy that you're back. And it's nice also that we keep seeing new faces, which is great. I really enjoy that.
And you don't have to go with a big group. You can go in by yourself as an individual.
Yes.
And be very welcome by you, your employees, and the people that are sitting there. And everybody's there for the same reason. They just want to kind of hang out, be cool, have a nice glass of wine, and experience the whole journey, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I made the comment to you when we were there, my wife and I, that it's a very nice place for adults to drink. And what I mean by that is it's not a bar. It's not a pub. It is just a place to unwind, have a good conversation, try different wines, and there's not drama that you sometimes have at bars and that sort of thing. So it really is like an adult, sophisticated, I guess you can use that word, but it's not that sophisticated if I show up to it. But, I'm saying it's a great place for adults to enjoy, wine and just the atmosphere. I mean, that's what I really enjoyed.
Tehachapi has been sharing nicely because of people like you and your investment.
Yeah.
You have a great patio out front. I know this summer you have some heaters and umbrellas and stuff. So I look forward to the patio service.
I was really surprised it turned out great with the patio, but I was really surprised last year during 4th of July. Vincent and I was sitting in the patio and we're like, okay, so it's kind of slow, right? And we're like, let's get ready to watch the fireworks, right? And I'm thinking that the fireworks are going to be in the opposite direction. from where they were. And it turned out that it was right in
got a
front
great
of the
spot.
patio.
Yes,
Yeah, we were
yes.
like right there, like front and center.
Wow.
And so towards it, we had, some friends that were going by. They saw us out on the patio. So they stopped, and we had the patio full that day. But I was amazed. It was a great showing of the fireworks.
We have a beautiful display, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm glad you had a good spot to watch the fireworks. And you had wine too.
And we had wine
Perfect.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
And your location complements what else is happening downtown with, like, for example, like Stray Leaves, right? They
Yes.
own the wine, they do their own thing. But again, people like to, whether they go to Cummings Valley to, wine taste, as Claire knows, but they want to hit multiple spots. And the same thing is sort of true with downtown. You can now go to Stray Leaves or the Bodega or vice versa, and you can enjoy a couple different spots, and within walking distance. You're not
Yes,
having
and that makes
to
it
get in your
very
car.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, so it's really a good compliment to the kind of the wine industry, so to speak, but also just to have an additional place downtown, to enjoy along with Stray Leaves, and your place, on the north side. So it's a fantastic compliment.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it's not just wine. I do carry some international beers. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a cider the night I was there, and I couldn't tell you where it was from, but it was phenomenal. So yeah, very great selection: beer, wine, ciders, all that good stuff. So
And then every once in a while, you put on your kind of painting nights or different events where you draw in maybe a different crowd.
Yeah, so we just finished Sip and Paint, and that was very nice. We had a couple of earring making workshops that I ran, and that's become popular. So I'm kind of pleased with that. And then I have Rob do food pairings, which is coming up on March 1st is when he's doing a food pairing. But he'll do classes as well. And we keep them small because we need to, be able to control the pairing and all that stuff. So the spots fill up quickly.
what kind of stuff do you have? I mean, as we, we're still in late February, March is around the corner. We're going to have our on and off nice weather until we get to the summer. But have you thought about that, like summer things that might be happening in the future, or have you not gone that far down the road?
My schedule is pretty full.
Okay, that's good.
It's hard to think that far back, but I think we have planned with Claire, doing a grand opening in May. I think we talked about May 10th.
May 10th.
May 10th,
Yes.
okay.
So that's coming up. As far as beyond that, I have not thought about it yet, but I
Fair
will.
enough. You got two jobs. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean, the success that you've had in the last, how long has it been since you actually opened the doors now?
We opened on May 3rd of last year.
So yeah, getting close to a year. So you'll, having a year under your belts, and this summer, I think you're going to see twice as many people this summer because, like I said, the word spread. You've developed a following already, and no one has a bad experience when they're going in, and it's your word of mouth advertising for people in the community is tremendous. So I think it's going to be a really good summer for you all.
And I think the soft opening was smart too, right? Because when you're opening a business, a lot of times people have this big, giant, grand opening, this and that, and then a bunch of people go. And the service is not that great because you're not into the groove, right? You're overwhelmed and this and that and this and that, and you've been able to grow your excellent service throughout that soft opening.
Yes, because what we didn't want to do a grand opening. Ron was just totally against the idea, and I agree with him because, when you open up a business, there's a lot of things that you don't know how they're going to work. From the POS system to the vendors supplying you with the product and, just logistics. The logistics kills you, right? And I wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable with the whole process before I had a lot of people come in, right? And it still is difficult for us to handle a lot of people that come in at everybody at one time because it's just a handful of us, right? The people that volunteer with me, right? Because I have no employees. And so between three of us, sometimes just two of us, we gotta, cater to everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that everybody's patient and that they understand. We want to provide good service and make them feel at home, like they're at my house, right? But allow us, to do what we have to do in order for us to provide, the right wine, the cheeses, charcuteries, whatever we need to do. But that takes time.
Yeah.
And doing a grand opening at the beginning when we weren't sure how everything was going to work, just wasn't in the cards for
I think
us.
that was smart. By the way, I work for wine, so if you need Friday night.
Every bartender, we talk about that all the time with whatever business, especially in a service related business, whether it's, wine, beverages, or it's food, whatever. We tell a lot of business owners when they come in and they're getting ready to open or they're talking about it, we let them know, like, you really only have one shot to get it right. And your approach was very smart, because sometimes it's we're just going to open the doors, and then someone has a bad experience, they don't go back. And sometimes they don't go back for years, and they tell people they had a bad experience. And so it takes a while to recover from that. So that's a very smart approach, because small community, you really only have one chance to get right. Some people have a little more grace than others, but you really got to make sure the opening is correct so people they feel good and then they want to come back.
Yes.
So good approach.
Yeah. We're still making adjustments.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, as you said, you're still learning every day. And you'll learn something today or tomorrow or this weekend that you'll pass on in a couple weeks down the road. So
now I can't wait till Friday night. I want to go have a I think we should all meet there.
Yeah.
Well, we're open Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday. What are the hours?
So on Thursday, we open at 4. And a lot of people is like, why you open at 4 and you open at 5 on Friday? Well, it all started with the farmer's market on Thursdays. And I didn't want to go back and forth on changing hours. So I just left it at 4 o'clock on Thursdays and then 5 o'clock on Fridays. And we open on Saturday and Sunday at 2 o'clock. And we close at 10 o'clock.
Great.
All those days.
I know there's a lot of I've been there, a lot of very young, well-educated professionals from Edwards Air Force Base or Rio Tinto or, kind of fill in the blanks, if you will. But they live in the Tehachapi area, and they really just want to come home and then relax at your spot, and others. And again, what you're providing is just part of that quality of life that we can continue to support all the people that support our nation and the world, actually. So thank you for that.
Yeah. No, I'm just, I love the fact as an economic developer, the reuse of especially old buildings. I mean, that building has been there a very long time. I mean, it's been everything from, a smoked meat house to a tire store, at one point. And it's just, it's great to see that reuse, and then to have it turn to something like this. It's one of those before and after pictures, right? People would never believe. And so it's a great success story, and I, love seeing things like that.
I think people overlook that spot, but it waited for you. You mentioned Joel earlier. Joel used to live here in Tehachapi, a great guy. He owned the ostrich ranch out in Cummings Valley for years and years, very successful. But more importantly, just a really, really nice man.
He is a wonderful man,
all about supporting you and your business and the other businesses that he's helped over the years. So he owns the building, and he's just a big plus in our community.
And he's very small business supportive. I mean, he's had a few buildings around town, and just he wants them filled. So, rent prices aren't his biggest concern. He wants to get people in, and just a sweetheart of a man, really. And so it's great. I've met him a few times, and then when we go to say, all right, see you later, he's like, give me a hug, it's like he's a grandpa or something, just very sweet, very supportive of small business, understands that it's important to have your buildings occupied as opposed to vacant. And a lot of big corporate landowners think differently. I'd rather just sit vacant than give it away at a lower rate, but he just wants to have his buildings filled, and he wants to contribute to the downtown area, which you certainly have.
He's a great man. He's a great landlord for you, I'm sure.
Yes, he's wonderful. Him and his wife Marcy.
That's great.
Sure.
Very great people.
For sure.
Wonderful stuff. Anything in closing here that we haven't touched on? Before I forget, do you have social media? How can people find you, or a website?
So the website is labodegadecastillo.com, and I try to update it as often as I can. We do have Facebook and Instagram. Although we try to update it again when we have time. But we do have a lot of followers that are posting on their sites as well, which is kind of nice. That's what's growing our business, is really the clients and the friends, and clients that become friends that are posting on their own Facebooks.
Yeah. Post from there, check in there and tag is a great
Yes.
way to, assist you all in your own social media, getting those tags and that sort of thing, just to get, fresh content, even from other people. So when people do that, if they would, check in, tag, all that stuff, it'd be big time help for you for sure.
Yes.
Well, great. Anything else, guys?
I was going to say, if you go to the deck on July 4th, you need to buy wine. Don't just go watch the fireworks from the deck.
free
Right.
wines on
The
4th of
Right.
July.
is you'll buy a bottle of wine.
Yeah, so 1 drink minimum on the deck on 4th of July.
That's
July.
it's a great little story. I'm just thinking about how the different, nooks and crannies around our city that you can watch the fireworks from, because it's a
Yes.
spectacular show, and yours is one of them. We'll
There's
add
gonna-
that to the list.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a reserve for Greg's seat. I can
Yeah.
see this for the next 4th of
It's
July.
funny though. July 4th, we work so
We're
hard.
running
that
all over
day.
the place,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness sakes! It's
So wine at the end of the night before
there
fireworks
you go.
would actually work.
Yeah,
so,
I need a driver, but
yeah, that's fun.
Well, wonderful. Thank you both, Claudia and Claire, for coming in. And it's great hearing all about the story of La Bodega and how you got started. And, of course, all the updates from the chamber. And Corey and Greg, thanks for joining as
you're
well.
welcome. Yeah,
Happy to do
thank
it.
you for coming.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And for anybody listening, if you have questions or comments for Claudia or Claire or anything that we talked about on this podcast, you can email us media@tehachapicityhall.com and we'll get that addressed to the right place. Thanks as always for listening, and we hope to catch you back here next time on Tehachapod.